Hey, OG, 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 OG.
Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? This is your girl, El Shaddai, with the news as it happens. I know there's been a lot of talk out there whether or not all this news reporting is true and did these things really happen. You've got a lot of confusion out among the public, which it does not surprise me.
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
I mean, it's just as easy for you to watch a news article that somebody has posted, look it up, do your research, and look for yourself as it is for you to try to make other people validate it for you, is I guess is what I'm saying. So
Yeah, boy.
I'm just telling you that I have also came up with a couple other things to help those who seem to be in confusion. I did a little more digging around. I have come up with some very recent videos that have come out from the Iranian, I think it's the Salami Kalmani guy, and your prime minister for Saudi Arabia. And this will help you guys understand where each country is coming from. And also, I believe I have something in there from our President Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this for you guys, and that way you can basically look to see where everybody's position is at, but you also have to look at what they're doing, because sometimes what people say is different than what they're doing. People lie, and you have to remember that most of the time when somebody's telling you something, especially when it comes from somebody like Iran, maybe even Saudi Arabia, I don't know, but Russia, stuff like that, China. Go ahead and listen to what they're saying, but then what are the actions, okay? Because most of the time they're the opposite.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you guys so you can see what the take on. We're going to start with Iran, we're going to move into Saudi Arabia, and then we're going to move into the United States. So here we go.
Any doubts about what Iran might do if attacked, the man who would lead the fight put to rest.
Our reaction will be absolute, and we will respond powerfully to anyone who wants his land to become a battlefield. We will never let Iranian land become a battlefield, and we will fight to the end. Nowhere will be safe. Be careful.
Wow.
Okay, if you just heard what he said, nowhere is going to be safe. This should be a definite alarm for you. And I know there's quite a few people who are planning to go with Paul Begley and his family to Israel. If I were you, I wouldn't be going anywhere near Israel right now. Okay, they are promising to annihilate it. This is even something biblical, but of course you don't get taught that, right? I mean, you get taught don't open Revelations because it's not for you, because you're going to be flown away. Okay, that is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. Do you even know what Revelations means? It means to reveal, and God revealed it. Okay, so if He revealed it, and it's about as easy to understand that a kindergartner
Yeah, boy.
can understand it, then why the hell do you think you shouldn't read it?
That was legit.
Okay, so think about it. You guys really need to focus and get in the Word of God and quit letting some false preacher, and I'm not calling that to anybody personally, okay? I'm just saying stop letting false preachers lie to you and tell you that you shouldn't read the Bible. You should read every single thing that's in the Bible, okay? Because God doesn't keep secrets. God has foretold us all things. He didn't skip a beat, and neither should you. All right, so we're going to go in to see what Saudi Arabia says now.
Is Saudi Arabia prepared for war?
We hope by any means to avoid war. Nobody wants war. War is destructive. We have priorities that involve reforming our country. We have a responsibility to defend our country and to ensure that no harm comes to our country or our people or our residents. And so we will do whatever it takes to prevent our country from sustaining damages. Preparing for war is always the last option.
Sky News has been shown the damage to the two Saudi oil facilities after last weekend's drone and missile attacks. The Saudi and US governments have said evidence will soon implicate Iran beyond doubt. So you're absolutely convinced that these drones and missiles came from Iranian soil?
We don't know that yet. There's suspicion because they came from the north, but what we do know is that the missiles and the drones are Iranian.
Enemy spotted.
I don't like where this is going.
All right, so let's go on to the next video here. And let's see what we've got going on from the US side.
Iran says it's ready for all-out war, delivering a warning after the US announced it was sending additional troops to Saudi Arabia.
Today we carried out our war exercises and are ready for any scenario. There is no such thing as a limited invasion against Iran. We will hunt down, punish, and destroy any aggressor. Don't miscalculate. Do not make a mistake.
Are you challenging me?
It's a scenario the US says it wants to avoid.
As the president has made clear, the United States does not seek conflict with Iran. That said, we have many other military options available should they be necessary.
Just do it!
We urge the Iranian leadership to cease their destructive and destabilizing activities and to move forward on a peaceful diplomatic path.
Tension has been building ever since the US pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal and reimposed sanctions on Tehran. Then, two major oil sites in Saudi Arabia were attacked last weekend. Yemen's Houthi rebels, who are backed by Iran, claimed responsibility.
Okay, so we basically already know about all this. This has been gone over quite a bit. So,
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
basically, so anyways, that kind of, I thought maybe Trump would have said something, but he didn't. But you basically know this is something. Let's see. This might show us a little bit about what Trump is saying. Let's get rid of that stupid commercial.
A lot. But we'll be meeting after this and having some very serious discussions about many things. I do want to, if I may, intercede for just a second. We have just sanctioned the Iranian National Bank. That is their central banking system, and it's going to be at the highest level of sanctions. So that just took place, and a couple of other things. We have our Secretary of Treasury here, Steve Mnuchin. If you want to say just a word, Steve, before we begin.
Mr. President, as you instructed me, we are continuing the maximum pressure campaign. This is the last remaining source of funds. So both the Central Bank of Iran, as well as the National Development Fund, which is their sovereign wealth fund, will be cut off from our banking system. So this will mean no more funds going to the RRGC or to fund terror. And this is on top of our oil sanctions and our financial institution sanctions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Secretary, Mr. President.
This is very big. We've now cut off all source of funds to Iran.
It goes all the way up to the very top.
That does.
The President.
Right to the top.
Supreme Leader.
Right to the top. Okay? Yes.
So here's my thoughts on that. Does this mean the breaking of the horn of Iran in Daniel 8? Is this how their horn gets broken, by having everything cut off to the bone so far where it goes all the way to the top? I don't know. It's something to think about.
Right to the top. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate it. So we're dealing with many nations. We're dealing with some of the neighbors to Saudi Arabia, and of course we're dealing with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is very much involved from the standpoint of what we're doing and what they're doing, and we're working together with others. We're also working on the cost of this whole endeavor, and Saudi Arabia has been very generous. We want to see if it works out, and if it works out, that's great, and if it doesn't work out, that's great. In the end, it always works out. That's the way it is. It always works out. So you'll be seeing certain things happening, but a very major factor is what we did. These are the highest sanctions ever imposed on a country. We've never done it to this level. And it's too bad what's happening with Iran. It's going to hell, doing poorly. They're practically broke. They are broke. And they could solve the problem very easily. All they have to do is stop with the terror. They have been the number one, as you know, Scott, very well, number one country worldwide of terror, between sponsoring it and doing it themselves. And we can't have it. They have a tremendous potential. They have an incredible potential. I can speak on behalf of Australia, too, in the sense that we'd like to see them do very well. We were discussing it before, the Prime Minister and myself. We want to see them to do well, but it looks to me like with what's happening, maybe they want to keep going at it. And when they go at it with us, there's no way they win. No way they win in any way or in any capacity. So we wanted to let you know about that, and that's the way it is. And thank you all very much. We're going to spend a lot of time with Australia today. Today is a very special day for the United States because we're honoring a great ally and a great friend. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Scott, would you like to say something?
It's a tremendous honour for Australians, for Jeannie and I to be here with the President and Mrs. Trump. It's a very gracious invitation, but it's an invitation that recognises not just the great relationship the President and I have been able to forge so early, but this goes back a long way, this relationship. As the President often says, we've been in a lot of battles, and those battles, of course,
all the same. I view that partnership very much the same. But when I was running, everybody said, oh, he's going to get into war. He's going to get into war. He's going to blow everybody up. He's going to get into war. Well, the easiest thing I could do, in fact, I could do it while you're here, would say, go ahead, fellas, go do it. And that would be a very bad day for Iran. That's the easiest thing I could do. It's so easy. And for all of those that say, oh, they should do it, it shows weakness, it shows, actually, in my opinion, it shows strength. Because the easiest thing I could do, okay, go ahead, knock out 15 different major things in Iran. I could do that and all set to go. It's all set to go. But I'm not looking.
Okay, I just wanted to pause what he's saying, and I skipped the whole U.S. president and Australia talking. It was a very peaceful talk. If you want to look it up, you can look that up. But he says that he could do the easy thing by going to war, and that he could take out this and take out that. Well, they've already started that, because in Syria, if you remember from my other video, go ahead and look through my videos, Saudi Arabia, Israel, with the backing of the U.S., providing fuel, refueling, and air support, they took out Iranian bases in Syria. And then today, or was it yesterday? It was today, I put out another video that they also, Israel and the U.S., did a joint effort to take out Iranian bases on the Iraq border, where Iran has now put all their forces at, as they have tried to take the border of Iraq and Jordanian. So I'm just saying.
So you have chosen death.
That seems to be the answer, but I'm telling you that what he's saying right now isn't what's happening. And this is where I got into the point of, yes, listen to what the leaders say, but then watch what they're doing, because this seems to be quite the opposite.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
And I'm sure that that's a lot of people's feelings about this. So let's listen in a little bit more of what he's saying.
To do that if I can. I think I've changed a lot of minds. People are very surprised that, and many people are extremely happy. Many people are thrilled, and many people are saying, "Oh, I wish you'd hit the hell out of them." Well, let's see what happens. But it will take place in 1 minute. I could do it right here in front of you, and that would be it. And then you'd have a nice big story to report. And I think it shows far more strength to do it the way we're doing it. And again, whether it's next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, doesn't make any difference. Whether it's now or in 3 weeks, doesn't make any difference. But I think the strong person's approach and the thing that does show strength would be showing a little bit of restraint. Much easier to do it the other way. It's much easier. And Iran knows if they misbehave, they're on borrowed time. They're not doing well. I'd like to see them do great. I'd love to see them do great, but they're not doing well. They're doing very poorly. They're doing far worse than they've ever done before. They're having riots in their streets. They're having a lot of problems in Iran right now. They could solve it very quickly. But the easiest thing for me to do is say, okay, let's go. Let's just do it. Very easy for me to do. But it is interesting because when I was campaigning, everybody here thought that I was going to be like, it would be 1 day. But what I have done is I've defeated ISIS. I've rebuilt our military to a level that it's never been before. Spent a lot of money. The budgets are not so hard to fix for me, but when you're spending $1.5 trillion so far, now another $738 billion on the military, but think of it, $1.5 trillion, and we have the greatest in the world. But I think restraint is a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
Can we get your reactions to Justin Trudeau?
All right, let's skip a little ahead.
Relationship like we do, but sometimes you develop, and many times you won't. But you get to know your opposition. I think the best thing that's happened to this country is the fact that, at least for 3 years, the fact that I have a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un. I think that's a positive. His country has tremendous potential. He knows that. But
he says he has a great relationship with Kim Jong-un, yet they haven't stopped anything that they're doing. They're still testing their missiles. They're still doing the same thing they did before they had this talk. So what has really changed there? I'm just saying that,
Another one.
you know, this isn't exactly going exactly where Trump is saying it's going. I think he's putting out there more of the possibility of what he wants to see and trying to make it seem like that's the way it is. But in all actuality, they haven't stopped doing anything. And I'm not too sure where this is all going, except for the fact that there's going to be some peace here soon, because something's going to happen to where they're able to bring this one world system in, and everybody's going to be crying out for it because they want peace.
Are you sure about that?
I am very sure about that, because that is what the Bible says. We're going to have a system that will almost come into place. It is a one world government system. It almost makes it, but it's going to receive that deadly wound, and it's going to come crashing down, and it's just not going to work. Okay, and the only time it's going to work is when Lucifer shows up. Okay, this is a big sign to what's happening right now, that Lucifer is going to be showing up soon to bring in this system, to heal the deadly wound, and to bring this false peace among the world. Okay, we need to really keep our eyes open and watch, and we have to make sure that we're listening, like I said, to what our leaders are saying, but that we also have to watch what the actions are. Because as I've stated, these are very, very different things that's going on from what's being said to what's happening.
A small price to pay for salvation.
All right. Anyways, this is your girl, El Shaddai, with the news as it happens. You know what I'm gonna say. I'm out.